Hello, and in this video I'm just going to briefly talk about how to install the rear suspension arm guards. So to make the rear suspension arm guards to clear the chassis, I just used one of the large wire cutters and cut this off and kind of just cut the side off here like that from there, and then just went from there with a knife, kind of just shaved off the remaining extruding parts. There. Now they're both done. As you can see, it's not the cleanest job, but I managed to do it with just a pair of wire cutters and a sharp hobby knife. So it shouldn't be too hard. Oh, and also, if you want it to look better, you can just get one of the permanent markers and just, I'll show you, just color it so it doesn't have a cut look. Since I will be installing the rear suspension arm guards, the little screw thread pivot ball joint will need to be replaced by a screw and a regular pivot ball so it can fit on the suspension arm guards. To get the pivot balls off, you just have to push on the threads and it's going to pop out. And to get the pivot balls on, set the larger side on an even surface and put the ring over it and push really hard on it. This is what it should look like when it's done. So when you're installing this, make sure the large part is pointed backwards towards the back of the car, and it goes on right there. To do this, I just slip the sway bar link on here on the screw and the bottom of the shock on here. And what I need to do now is to connect it and screw the screws in. Alright, so I got one side on, and now I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. So again, a screw through here, through the link, with the larger part pointed towards the back, and have another screw, put it to this hole, and thread it through the bottom of the shock and install it on the suspension arm. Now both of them are installed, and I will take the rear sway bar and just put it over here in the little indent right there. When tightening the screws, I first just screw both of the screws like 80% down and then readjust the sway bar so that it's in the center, and then tighten the screws. The screws are tight, and now let's go back over to the links and slide the links on the sway bar. You will need a small hex wrench and just tighten the set screw so that the link is connected to the sway bar. Alright, so the screws are connected, and we know the sway bar works if we compress one side and the other side goes up a bit. And now we can just connect the rear back to the chassis with the 4 screws. The whole car is now back together, and I hope that was helpful.